Yo, this hot, this the spot, there it is pod.com. We're interviewing the best comedians, so tune in quick and get your ears receiving them. We talking about life and life to stream right to you, from the microphone right to your home, dude. Side note, this might get embarrassing, but no, don't sweat, yo, cause there it is.
Welcome to the There It Is podcast, a comedy podcast to help you find your inspiration. I'm your host, Jason Farr. Let's do this. We have improviser and actor Billy Soco on the podcast today. It's a really great chat. We had a really great response to last week's episode with girlfriend of the show, Justina. Really fun chat there, and people are saying that what resonated with them is her saying that some people are being too careful with comedy or trying to enforce this, like, be careful with your comedy. And it truly isn't necessary to be so careful. And honestly, if you're doing improv, you have to have that spontaneity. And so if you're holding back in any way, if you're on stage second guessing every move for whatever reason, then you lose that spontaneity, and it makes it hard to just do improv and have fun and make jokes, and the thing is, a lot of times when you hear people talk about what Justina and I talked about last week, they're saying something dumb like, oh, you can't say anything anymore, you can't make jokes anymore, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. You actually still can make jokes. Just don't belittle subjugated people or make fun of assault victims. But you're not doing that, right? Here's the camp that I've fallen into. When I've done improv, I would start being careful because I was worried that something I just said or was about to say would be taken the wrong way. And I wasn't about to say something that was going to belittle a group of people. So I really was worrying about nothing. There are clearly plenty of examples of people not being careful. I don't think Samantha Bee is careful, but Samantha Bee is funny. So you could do comedy that is not careful, so careful, worrying about whatever. That point that Justina was making is resonating with people for a reason. And it's because some people, myself included, have been a little careful with how we perform live comedy specifically. I don't think any scripted comedy is being too careful, but live comedy, particularly improv comedy, people are being a little careful because they don't want to hurt any feelings, which is obviously a nice sentiment, but you're not going to hurt any feelings, and you're just hurting your comedy by being so careful. So as Tavish Forsyth was talking about in episode 219, some people need to unclench their butt cheeks a little bit. Go listen to that episode too. That was a very good episode that was somewhat talking about another aspect of this very same topic. So if you haven't listened to last week's episode or episode 219, go check those out, both in the feed. Really great episodes. But why don't you listen after you listen to this one with Billy Soco? He's great. We talk about hip-hop, improv, him taking a bunch of classes. It's a really fun chat. Let's get right to it. Here's my chat with Billy Soco.
I am assuming, because you went to University of Florida, that you are from Florida.
That's a correct assumption, yes.
Okay. When you were there, were you doing comedy? Did you do any kind of performance before graduating college?
A little bit in high school. I was kind of like all over the place in high school. I played football, and I did drama, and I played chess. I was just all over the place. I wanted to do everything, and so I kind of did. But mostly, like, in college, I was really into music, and Gainesville, Florida, where the University of Florida is like a huge, like, incredible live music scene. Tom Petty, if you're familiar with him.
Oh yeah, he's from Florida.
He's also from Florida, and he's like, Gainesville claims him as their own.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did a lot of hip hop stuff. So, like, I got together with a couple of friends, and we had like a little hip hop group. So we would actually get together, we'd freestyle rap, we'd find time to just like write songs together. My buddy at the time who rapped with us also was our producer. Like he would uh just like sample like songs and music and just produce music. And so it was really great. We'd book shows, promote shows. Like it was like that was like the focus, and that's where I got a lot of my stage time. I didn't do much other than performing in like a musical or two in high school. I didn't do a lot of like acting or anything. Took an acting class in college. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how did you end up getting into the acting world? Because you do voiceover stuff now. You act. You do story pirate stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously improv, but yeah.
What's that? What is improv?
I left that off for some reason.
What is improv? Huh?
Uh-huh.
I would kind of when I moved to New York, I moved in like 2012. I was with someone at the time, no longer with them, but I think like I was always a big fan of improv, but I only knew it as like short form comedies, like through Who's Line, of course. And so we didn't if there was improv, there's like an improv scene in Florida. I just was never connected to it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know about it. And I remember casually just going to like walking and like I saw the Beast, UCB East. And we just walked in, saw shows, really hilarious. And then afterwards they had a jam and I was just like, oh, let me try this. This will be a crazy story to tell. And I just actually really loved it. It was really fun. And then I think I signed up for a Magnet class. This was like in 2015, something like that. The free Magnet had a free class, so I did that. And then yeah, you know, you get the bug when you do improv, and then just I just followed wherever that took me, which took me all over the place. Yeah. That was it. Isn't improv
cool.
great?
I love it. I have had a weird go of it. I'm so rusty now that when Magnet did come back and start doing shows again, I wasn't as connected as I had felt before the pandemic. And so it's not that an uninspired sort of, well, I mean, I feel like my performance has been uninspired, but it's not a lack of wanting to have inspired performances, you know.
Well, where are you gonna where are we really gonna find it right now, you know? I mean, it's so difficult because of the pandemic, you know?
Right.
I mean, live theater is just kind of like it's like hit or miss, you know?
Yeah, and it's so few and far between when stuff happens that it's just like, I don't know. I think there's just so much uncertainty that makes it hard to like get back in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's truly like it's very difficult. My partner Kat, she is also like in the Magnet community, and
I was in a class with her, and she is so funny.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna love that. I'm gonna tell her immediately. She's in Hawaii right now, by the way.
Oh, one of my best friends, the best friend of the show, Rob, is actually in Hawaii. Rob, you don't know this Rob, but
hey, if he's the best friend of the show, he's the best friend of mine.
Oh, sweet. I guess he's in on the main island.
Okay, yeah. Kat's on Kona. That's an island as well. I'm not familiar with any of the islands.
I'm not super familiar with it either, but that's different than the one he's on.
Okay.
So they'll probably not see each other. I feel like I've heard that it's not easy to travel between the islands there.
You need 4-wheel drive is what I hear. Well, so like her and I had been talking, and you know, she was the same way. Like I think the sense of being able to perform and kind of like letting loose and being connected with others, it's just one of those things that the last like year and a half is just really like took away. It just limited how much you could do. So yeah, it's tough. It sucks like knowing that you have a show or that you can get together, and then like the day before somebody gets COVID and you're just like, let's not risk it. Let's get it canceled, you know?
Right. No, for sure. Well, things are coming back. Magnet's coming back. I don't know if UCB will ever come back.
Nope, I
And
don't think
yeah,
so.
I don't think so. They're just kind of like, yeah, we'll see. And then we haven't heard anything, so I don't guess that's coming back. And
Where are they gonna
but
go?
you have, not to jump too far ahead in this improv journey, but you do have other shows outside of Magnet that you perform. There's CHUCHO, your
Yeah,
team, your improv team that's
Chucha.
like, I guess, an indie team, CHUCHO.
Yeah,
And
we're like 4 or 5 years strong now.
yeah.
This is well, you know Zave. You know
Yeah.
everyone, I think. You know
Previous I
Melissa,
know everyone
Patricio,
on there, yeah.
Kevin. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Alex.
And listeners know Zave. He's been on a couple of times.
Ah, Zave. What a precious babe.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. He's got, I mean, talking about like, uh comedy in New York City. I mean, he's got Rubbish now, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's got Rubbish, which I'm excited. I think their first show is starting up or was supposed to happen. Chucho just performed for the first time in person at Steel Stacks like 2 weekends
Yeah,
ago.
I saw that, and that looked awesome. It looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. I can't keep whenever we get together, it's just like if you ever see like a close up of like a microscopic like organisms like hitting each other or, like sperm, I don't know. That's exactly what Chico's like when we get together. And then I have to like walk away because I can't keep up with them. They're so they're on it. But yeah, Chucho, we've been performing. This is an all Latinx team where we've been performing for like 4-5 years. So wonderful. Still really great friends. And yeah, that was the first. When you start doing improv, you join a bunch of improv teams, and they, like half-life is like 6 months or something. It's like
Yeah.
incredible if it lasts a year.
Yeah. 5 years strong is something special. 5,
Yeah.
6 years strong. And you also got named as a new cast member of North Coast,
North Coast. Heck
which
yeah.
is dope. Yeah.
North Coast Hip Hop Improv.
Yeah, and
It's like,
your musical history is now
it's
coming full
wild.
circle
Yes,
with your improv. Yeah.
it's so wild. Having started, I remember working at Best Buy in Florida, and like my buddy Chris that also worked in like the media section in Best Buy, which at the time, now I don't think that exists anymore
Not
because
really.
everything's
Yeah.
digital.
Right.
But I remember we'd get off of work, and his family had like a little house right next to the store. So we just walk over and we just sit on his patio, and we would just freestyle. We would just go back and forth, and that kind of grew into like just like creating like mixtapes and like recording, and just like connecting with a bunch of different people. And so to be able to then like have this journey where like for a long stretch of time I wasn't being creative, and then finding improv, and then diving into acting and all of this other like performance art, it to find myself with North Coast now is just a dream. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Everybody's so amazing,
Mhm.
and it's really like an institution. They've been around for like what, almost 20 years or something like that.
A super long time. I
15?
feel like it's got to be around 15, because when we moved here, we went to their 10-year anniversary, like right after we moved here. And that was 2017. So yeah, like they've been going 15 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's so being part of that, I mean, it's incredible. And it's
Mhm.
just amazing to see, like, I perform with some of these folks like here and there, throughout, you start getting like really, you're like, oh yeah, we know each other from blah, blah, blah. And then to be able to perform on stage and just like bust out a scene, but then like just go and start rapping to it. Like it's so funny, and it's just so the thing in improv where like you're making a choice without like fully thinking it through, right? Like I mean, some people's brains work way faster, and they like have the whole thing, everything they're about to say is like so
Yeah.
clean.
I'm not that person.
Yeah, same. Absolutely not that person. But there's like this split second where like you kind of see it in someone's eyes where they definitely don't know what's about to come out of their mouth. That's the joy. And that's why I love about improv. It's also what I love about freestyle rapping. And it's, some of the like most genius like shit just comes out and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so funny or so dumb, and probably usually the same thing.
Oh, right,
Um,
for sure.
oh my gosh, sorry. Yeah, so I'm very honored, very lucky to be able to be in that position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really dope thing to be able to do. And like they have a very storied history. And
Yes.
also you didn't you do some, was it a class at the Freestyle Love Supreme?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Freestyle Love Supreme had Freestyle Love Supreme Academy,
Mhm,
which
mhm. Where was it?
uh this was in they would the original, I don't know where it is now, but the original classes took place in Ars Nova. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Mm.
It's one of those theaters. It's a smaller theater, but yeah, they would just like throw the class at Ars Nova. They were like workshopping a few of these, and so I was
And
lucky. I think I was. Yeah, go ahead.
oh, no, how long ago was that?
Oh my gosh. It was definitely pre-pandemic. It was like 2008. No, 2019, 2018 maybe.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Because I
Yeah.
think I saw, so for those who don't know, Freestyle Love Supreme was just on Broadway here, and Lin-Manuel Miranda started that with a bunch of amazing people, a couple of people who I didn't he have a couple of people who were in Hamilton involved with that,
Yeah.
and then
Chris
some
Jackson.
great
Yeah.
people who weren't involved with Hamilton. Also, like
Tarek. Oh
Tarek
yeah. Tarek's funny as
from
shit.
yeah, he
He's
is
so
from
funny,
Amber
dude.
Up and Show.
Yeah.
And I remember it was right before the pandemic that Lin-Manuel went on The Tonight Show to promote Freestyle Love Supreme.
Before In the Heights, before Hamilton, there was Freestyle Love Supreme. That's where it started, yeah.
It's totally different every night. It's based on your suggestions. You give us a verb, and then 80 minutes later, you have an entire hip-hop musical. We were working on In the Heights. It was my first musical. We were working in the basement of the drama bookshop. Then Anthony, who worked at the bookshop, would come in and distract us. He would be like, let's rap about our day. And Chris Jackson and I were there in the basement, and we would just, like, freestyle. And Anthony was like, we should do this in front of people. And here we are 15 years later on Broadway!
And
that's right.
then, of course, the pandemic happened. So they didn't really get much out of the way before. They didn't get to do a whole lot before the pandemic. Because I think it was
Yeah, but
like late in 2019 when he went on there.
yeah, that's right. And they had already like started it. I think
Right.
Andrew, Jelly Donut, Chalkwave, like they kind of like and Tarek, they kind of led the way in driving the academy, and it still do. And now they're taking it like on tour and stuff. I
Mhm.
know Freestyle Love Supreme's on tour, but I think the academy is also trying to like
Oh,
get
weird.
out
Cool.
there and
Branch
like
out. Oh.
yeah, and branch out. I mean, it's great. I mean, the whole their curriculum is solid. I mean, with hip hop improv, it's always like, so if you're not familiar with like hip hop improv, it's like or if you're new to it, the one thing, anytime you add hip hop to like something, like it means a lot. It carries a lot of weight because there's just a lot of
Mhm.
culture there. And
Mhm.
if you hear hip hop and you're like, oh, this is hip hop, like this is cool, like, and you don't understand any of the history, then you definitely got to like take a step back and just I don't know, like read a little bit, or like watch a YouTube video about the history behind it, because there's so much culture.
Mhm.
And I think both North Coast and Freestyle of Supreme Academy, they're very good about like establishing like how hip hop has influenced what they do, and distinguishing it between like we're not just calling this like this is hip hop, but it is drawing aspects from it, um and without actually like claiming like we are hip hop.
Right. Right.
They definitely don't, like, they know what they are, and they also respect the culture that much to do that.
Mhm.
So, uh, but
It's a
yes,
really good blend of music and improv, because obviously musical improv was existing before people started doing hip hop improv, I guess, just because people are doing musicals in the form, like improv's in the form of a musical, but
Mhm.
no one is freestyling musicals. Those are like very painstakingly written.
Yeah.
Hip hop had a very long history, decades long history of having freestyles. And so
Yeah.
that is a perfect thing to blend with improv. And it's so cool that it's this big thing now.
Yeah, yeah. It's so remarkable, and it's so great that hip hop's gotten to a place where you know it's these are kind of like I would say like just entry points. Like, oh
Hmm.
wow, look at this! Like, I'm a big musical fan. I love musicals, and this is unique, and I want to learn more. That's great. So I think that's great. I think also the way they approach it is very different too. Like I feel like Freestyle Love Supreme, that the like brand is very much like they're um it's like I don't want to say it's like short form, but it's definitely like musical heavy, and like plays like they um yeah, I don't know. I feel like North Coast is very like focused on long form. They even
Hmm.
have like the anybody like
Uh-huh.
we perform anybody, which is like the improvised musical based on Hamilton. So
Hamilton,
it's
right?
yeah, which is really funny. I mean, they've done like so many. I think they recently did like a who have they done? They've done Bruce Lee. We did a Michael Jackson show,
Oh,
which
wow.
which I was surprised. We were all like afterwards, like, man, that's pretty bold that we took Michael Jackson as a suggestion and did a fully like narrative long form show on Michael Jackson. It's like a guy you can go one of two ways. It's like really bad or
For sure, yeah.
okay. Yeah.
No,
Um,
that is a very interesting show that was it the main people who first started North Coast who kind of spearheaded. I mean, I know Douglas Whittick was one and Katy Berry, but I don't know Katy Berry wasn't one of the inaugural members of North Coast, but
oh
she
my gosh.
was been
Yeah.
there a while.
Yeah. Rachel Rosenthal.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
James Robillata, I think.
Yeah,
And
and he's one of the founders, yeah.
yeah.
Um, totally just cool crew, doing that. I wonder if Lin-Manuel knows about it because he, like, spurred this idea.
I think they definitely know. I think they definitely know each other. I mean, know of each other's groups for sure.
Mhm.
Also because I'm pretty sure I've seen the like a connection of like a bunch of like North Coast members at one point. This is before I joined North Coast. Like say what's up to like Freestyle Love Supreme after a show, like after one of their shows. So like there was
Oh,
like this
okay.
connection. It was so beautiful. It was like all
And
love.
of course, yeah, like, Kayla Milady was the North Coast
She's done
beatboxer for
both.
so long, and now she's the beatboxer
Oh,
for Freestyle Love Supreme.
Pungent. Okay.
Or one
and
of them.
she's she's a
She's
phenom
incredible.
anyways, right? Like
So good,
world
dude. She's the
international
coolest.
beatbox champion.
Yeah.
However
I
many times.
adore her. She is really awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so talented. I think I think hip hop improv and musical improv, generally speaking, I think it's such a I don't know. I don't know your thoughts here, but I think it's very it's something that is I don't know. It uses a side of you that sometimes doesn't always come out in like traditional improv comedy, right? Because like there's an aspect of like in musical improv, like the songs aren't they don't really start until there's like this emotional you hit this emotional nerve, right? And it's similar to like hip hop improv, right? Like
Mhm.
until once you get down to like what the deal is of the scene, that's when the hook will come in. And then so but it's I don't know, you really like get all of this emotion, and if you're like a big music head, like you can express it, through music and through just like making it up on the spot, which is uh very joyful. I don't know.
It is very joyful. That's one of the things that I love so much about the musical improv I've seen here because everyone was just going for it. And it was exciting
Yeah.
and it was fun. And that's what I love about North Coast. I still remember first 2 times I saw North Coast, because it just blew me away.
Yeah.
It's just like it's that unabandoned, just like going for it, no fear. It's awesome.
Yeah. And you know how like you trade focus, like
Mhm.
it's imagine being able to then like break into like this, freestyle rap, and you're like just trading bars but still maintaining like perspectives and narratives. It's it's like it's wild when it comes out, because you're out on stage and you're trusting just like you would in improv, but like you're also trusting that this person is gonna like have 2 bars or 4 bars ready, and it's like without fail every single time, like somebody drops like the most incredible jewel, and then off to the next person, and they drop an incredible jewel, and it's just like,
Yeah.
how do these people exist? Like what?
I don't. That was my thing, and that's why I'm like, oh, I could never be that good at that sort of thing, because I'm already someone who like enjoys listening to rap, but I'm not a rapper. Like I
Yeah.
definitely could not. Like I can't even rap along with the songs. Like I just don't. I can't do it. So I definitely don't see how I could do what they're doing at all. But I just remember seeing, just like when Boris Hyken was with North
Of
Coast,
course, yeah.
just like he's wild. Like he will say anything, and he's insanely funny.
Stop letting white supremacists commit cultural appropriation. I recently went to the most American wedding I'd ever been to in my life. It was a half Hindu, half Muslim wedding in Jamaica with a Jew as a witness in the Muslim ceremony. It was beautiful. As a groomsman, I wore this golden kurta, which if you aren't familiar is an Indian formal wear or a hate crime in Brooklyn.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's a lot of fun.
Oh,
And
truly.
it's exhilarating. I can't wait until like their regular shows again that you can just go see.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, not to drop, but North Coast has got a show coming up this February. Uh, let me just plug every other thing I say is going to be a plug for a show, and it's just going to be a North Coast show. I won't do that. I'm just kidding.
You've studied a lot. I mean, you've been through
Did
both
Magnet.
tracks at Magnet
Yeah.
and UCB. You did a lot of training there too.
Yeah, I did. I did Magnet Improv, did that track, the musical improv track. I think I did. I don't know if I finished sketch, but I did one sketch. But I did do sketch at UCB, and then I did the full improv track at UCB, and then ultimately I got into Lloyd Night, did it for 1 season, and then that's it.
Yeah. I think it's a common. There are so many people going through there that it was even like.
Yeah. It was wild. I remember going. They executed the UCB Academy or whatever it was, and then I remember there was like a limit to like how many times you could
Audition for
interview.
it?
Audition, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they update your resume? Yeah, it's only 3 times. You could audition only 3 times. And I remember when that happened, I was like, man, fuck it. I'm just gonna audition every single time there's one, and then if I don't get in, I don't get in. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sure enough, I think the following season they recast, and then I think there was like 2 weeks for that, and then it was right before the pandemic, and then UCB had shut down. So
Yeah.
but yeah, crazy times. I love, I really enjoyed, they're very different, UCB and Magnet.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like, of course, a lot of people talk about, oh, well, one is all game and the other is all relationship, which isn't entirely true. But of course, like the culture is different.
Yeah,
And the
culture's
approach
different.
is different. And that's not a bad thing, because it's good to have different options.
Yeah, 100%. I remember I was going through the Magnet, as I was going through Magnet, and I remember I got to a point to where I was playing with folks who were very game heavy, and then I was like, what is this shit? What is everybody what what's happening? Why is anybody acting like a normal ass person? And I was like, oh, okay, it's not that. It's just that they're looking for something that I don't know to look for. And you talk in circles, and I knew about UCB obviously, but I was just like, I want that skill set. Like I want to be able to learn that. And
so that's what led you to. I was just about to ask what made you want to take classes at both.
Yeah. I mean, Magnet was there. I loved Magnet, and I loved, there is a focus on like relationship, but I think it's more like a focus on just like truthfulness and bringing who you are to your scene work, and like, but yeah, UCB, I feel like, there's just, I wanted to, so the one thing about improv is I loved playing with people. Like it was just weird. It's like a weird, different way to communicate, because I'm otherwise I feel like a very like introverted person. Like I come into a room like, hey, and then immediately all my energy's drained, and I like find a corner to just like sip my drink, and then I find a good opportunity to leave. Too much. But so anyways, I wanted to be able to play with people, and I was just like, yeah, let me just try UCB. At the time I was also like thinking about going into sketch and acting more, just general acting. And my first UCB class was sketch with Drew Johnson. And yeah, I think I literally, from that class, I learned the most about game than in any other class afterwards, or like workshop from anyone. It was just very clear. And I was just like, oh, okay, I get it. Like,
Yeah. Could you define for us how he worded it? Well, not only game necessary, but just like, how did he make it? How did he make that more clear for you?
I don't know. I think it's just, that's really funny. Should have recorded it. He had the answers. I'll message him on Instagram or something.
But people do get hung up on that, and there are like different ways that people explain it, and some people still are just like, I sort of see what you mean, but I still struggle with it, So I just wonder if he was kind of like a guru about just explaining it in such a perfect way, or what?
I mean, I couldn't articulate it at this point, but I just know that after I left, or after I took that class, I could see things not only in sketches, but I could see things in like, in improv, and when folks would perform it, like I could see exactly what it was. It was just like, hey, what's funny here? And then just folks just chasing after it and like building it up. It literally is like, I don't even, when people talk about game, that's like enough of a definition for me. It's like, if improv is play, then what is the game? Like, what are folks having fun doing? Like, and then when you start getting into like all the other words, like what's the weird thing? And then like, how do we see different, moves for it? And it just gets very like, oh my God, I had 1170 on my SAT. I can't follow this shit. It's too much. I was an English major. I don't know. Like it gets very like,
too heady.
Too
mathematical.
Right? Yeah. So now it's just like, what is somebody pointing out that's really like dumb or fun? And then like, how can we play it? I don't know. How do you just play this game? It's stupid. It's simple. And that's probably not even a good definition either, but that's how my mind like.
But there might be somebody who what I love is we're playing. So like, what are we playing? Like, what are we doing here to have fun? Like, that's a really good way, I think, to like help connect some dots for people.
Yeah, truly, like the simplest answer is probably the right one. It's like, if we're playing, what's the game? Okay, that's it.
I'll just keep doing that.
I'll just keep doing it.
So you are clearly very passionate about this art form. You've gone to these different schools and academies, and taken so many different classes. Obviously, that was a pre-pandemic thing. In a post-pandemic world, we all can safely get into a class small classroom with 16 people, do you see yourself saying like, oh, I want to get back and taking a bunch of classes?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
There's so much I still want to do. So the answer is yes. And I'll like see myself going off on a tangent. The thing is like I got into like I've been performing, but not in this way, in this capacity, like acting.
Right.
But there's so much I still want to do, and I feel like I got a late start in life to do it. So I want to be able to take, more Meisner training, or like I still want to do like more improv. I want to try like, what is Second City like? Like what is,
Oh yeah.
outside of New York, I think, and even like I was talking to my Ralph from North Coast who he's like a teacher. He does clown, and like I want to do like clowning classes, like commedia, like those are the things that I want to pursue, and even beforehand I was like doing, was doing like neutral mask, and like those are the things that were really fun, that like allows me to explore a space even more and just like how I perform within it. So yeah, absolutely, all about it. And it's just nice to kind of like continue learning and keep sharpening your skills. Yeah, because then you get like, have you ever done this thing where like you get caught up in playing like a mobile phone game?
Like Wordle, maybe?
Yeah,
Like, are you admitting you are one of the Wordle?
So no, truth be told, I haven't done Wordle yet, and
I haven't
it's
either.
yeah, it's like this silent defiance, because I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do it, and then I will like next week. But
Right.
I played I downloaded this stupid game. It's called, I'm going to tell you right now. Hold on. It's called Bullet Echo, and it's just like a little figure walking around corridors like a Navy SEAL, and like exploding things.
Okay.
And I've deleted it like literally 11 times in the last like 2 weeks, because I'm like, I'm wasting my life. I'm wasting time. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm not learning anything from it. My brain is just like, it's just like pruning, playing this stupid game. I didn't want to say the name either, because now, I don't
No,
want to
yeah, I
infect
get you.
anyone. Sorry, but
Well,
it is what it is.
I had that problem with Snood in college, like, and everyone did.
Snood,
Snood,
yes.
oh gosh, downloaded that on the computer, was just like addicted, like everyone. It was crack for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Yes.
I don't really get addicted to the phone games.
Mm.
And I don't even really, like, I've downloaded 2 the entire time I've had a smartphone.
Yeah.
So like all those years of having a smartphone, I've only played 2, and I got rid of them pretty quickly because I was like,
that's
I don't enjoy this.
no, that's because you're an adult. Because
Well, I mean, I still play PlayStation 4. I just don't.
shit. Yes, I don't have a console. Damn it. Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I am not playing it on the phone, because
because you
I
have
have
the
a
real deal.
console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you playing on PS4 right now?
Right now, RDR2, little Red Dead Redemption 2 for
Oh,
the uninitiated.
dang.
That
Do you know
game
Tori?
is huge.
Do you know Tori, musical improviser?
Mhm.
She's taking she's taking like an animation. She's in school for like video game development, something like that. She's gonna hate me for saying this, but like she's telling me she did like a dissertation on like horses and video games. And how there should be more. Anyways, Red Dead Redemption was one of the games that came up. It's like Grand Theft Auto with cowboys, right?
Yeah. Yeah, same company, and it's like a massive game. Like, I was playing it over the weekend, I think this was, and I was like, well, this feels like we're winding up to the final chapter in this story. And then I looked at the progress, because it can tell you like the percentage of the main story that you're through. It was 51%.
No
I
kidding.
was like, what? I've done all of this stuff, and it felt like they were winding down, and I'm only in the middle of the
Half.
game.
You're just a little half over
Just a little, yeah.
I think the end of the game is like your character is just like like walking with a cane and like just grows very old. That's incredible. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
As long as they're taking to make another game, that probably is what they're planning on doing. It's like, it'll take you 40 years to finish this game. I don't want to play a one game for 40 years.
That's too much. Didn't they does Red Dead Redemption do this? That the same thing Grand Theft Auto probably does is like you can develop your character kind of like you would develop yourself in the real world. So like what you eat impacts like your endurance, and like you have to like work out in order to like get faster in the game.
They kind of do stuff like that. Like there's certain things you do that can, like my character's always underweight because I never eat enough. So that's a thing.
So it does that affect
So they do
your
that.
like, ability? Oh, okay.
They say that it, like, if you're underweight, then it affects you this way. If you're overweight, it affects you that way. And I'm like, I don't know.
As long as I can still ride a horse.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what he's supposed to do. And then like your stamina can go up if you just like run a lot or walk a lot.
So it is the same.
It's similar.
Isn't that wild? It's just making, this is the metaverse. This is what everyone's talking about.
For sure.
It's like, don't worry about yourself in real life. Worry about your avatar and make sure that they're fit and like healthy and will have, I don't know.
It's eating enough. And I'm like, that's not why I'm playing this. Like I want to shoot people. I'm an outlaw.
Okay.
Oh. Sorry, total tangent. What were we talking about? We were talking about comedy.
We're talking about comedy, getting back at it. And, I want to get back at inspired performances for me. Now, I'm not putting that on other people. I'm saying like, I want to feel like that inspiration that I felt early on. And I don't know what it's going to take to get it back, but I'm hoping that in a post-COVID world, it comes back, because I think a lot of it is not seeing a lot of shows.
Yeah. What do you mind me asking, because I know this is a sensitive subject. I don't know why I prefaced that question. Do you mind me asking? Wait, who were you? What were the shows that inspired you like early on when you started getting into like improv? And
well, that's a good question. I mean, I think the first thing that inspired me was the ASCAT DVD that I like rented from Netflix. And like years and years ago, I was like, this is so funny, because I don't even think I had heard about UCB. And I just saw that thing. I was like, oh, that's so great. I want to do that. And then my old improv company came to town, and the town I was living in at the time, and started doing that form.
Somebody in the audience shouts out a subject, and somebody on stage tells a story about that subject, and you guys take it from there.
Again, anybody here for their first time, go ahead and throw out a word, a topic, an idea. I heard boyfriend. Boyfriend.
Oh, shit. Over Christmas break, my boyfriend and I had broken up, and I had planned a big vacation with a bunch of people so that I wouldn't be, depressed over the holidays and lonely without the boyfriend. I went to go and have the sort of final breakup conversation, but I had a gift to give to him, and he gave me his gift, which was really elaborate. I was like, wow, maybe we should give this a second chance. I tried to give it back first. I was like, please take this gift back. It's way too elaborate. No, you have to take it. Maybe we should give it another go. And I had planned a big ski trip. If you want to come with me, well, I can't go with you. All the people know that we're breaking up. And I'm like, no, come with me. Everyone's going to be cool.
Amy, I know it's been weird, but I want to stay friends, and I wanted to invite you to my divorce party.
Why are you having a party that we're getting divorced?
It's them. They're giving me, I'm so used to being a married guy, and I'd love to have you there. Be an excuse not to get a prostitute.
I don't think the guys are gonna want me there, Ian.
Well, they'll be cool with it.
DIVORCE! Divorce!
She was a bitch!
You live with your mother, don't you? You still live with your mom.
Out of
You're
choice.
45 years old.
Bitch,
Everyone
stop
knows
it.
you're gay, Andy Daly.
And so I think at first it was like the Armando style was really inspiring to me. And then seeing TJ and Dave, that really also like kicked it into high gear. And then just different people I would see. Like there's some people in South Carolina that were just like, they're super hilarious or they're super grounded. And I just really appreciate that and want to be that. And, you know, and going to festivals and seeing North Coast or Magnet. I mean, like Chet Siegel, like, and Rick Andrews, that the first time I saw them was some of the most inspired I've been. That one show was really top 3 most inspired I've been from a show. So early on, like that's where I was at. And I think it is like, I'm not seeing a lot of live shows at all, much less improv.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah, I wish there was more too. And I totally get that, because if you don't have that connection, then it's like it's something that's so ingrained in like who you are and like what you're passionate about. When you don't have that, it's coming back, man. You know what? It's coming back. Whatever.
It's coming back.
It's coming back.
We were trying to come back, and then Omicron happened. You know, we'll get back at it when Omicron is out the door.
When they're done. You know, there was I remember watching who's the I can't remember who was recording all those UCB shows at Chelsea. But there was a bunch of them that were on YouTube, and I remember watching those as I very early on, even like this is before I started taking classes at UCB. I didn't understand what I was looking at the time, but I remember once I started taking UCB classes, I went back to these videos and I was like, wow. And I remember seeing this team that I really loved watching, which is Fuck That Shit. I liked it because it was very like a straight line. It was like somebody would make an offer and then like everyone would just like zero in on it. Almost every show that I would watch of theirs, it would just be, I don't know. I was heavily influenced by a lot of like how they were, just like the fun. They were just so dumb and fun.
Harvard, man. You all go to Harvard. We can tell by your shirt. So do I. So let's just sing the song. All right. Song. All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. 1,
I'm not gonna go back and think about what shows they had.
Yeah, that stuff is probably still on YouTube. So
It's got to be.
Maybe I should
Yeah.
watch some of that.
Oh,
And
yeah,
get inspired
actu-
again.
Hey, you should. And here's the here's a question too: is there's so many changes, right? That COVID has had. It's been so impactful to our day-to-day lives. Why not have an impact on how we watch improv, right? Or just live comedy as a whole. More and more shows. I know North Coast is doing this, but they're being streamed. So you can buy tickets. I think Squirrel's
Yeah.
doing this too, like where they're just like streaming their shows.
I'm really glad to hear that, because I know that when live shows first came back after people were getting vaccinated, there were a couple of shows I saw where, and it seemed like a temporary thing at the time, but they were doing that where you could go live in person, but they also were selling some online tickets. And I'm like, every theater just needs to do that.
Why don't they, right? Like, why isn't
Right.
this an actual thing?
Yeah. I mean, I
Imagine.
could see someone making the argument of like, because I want them in the door and buying liquor. Like Comedy
yeah.
Cellar I could see Comedy Cellar saying something like that. And also like,
That makes sense.
sometimes I wouldn't do it for every show, maybe. I would, but maybe the weekend shows, like or
Yeah.
something. Like I just would love more access. But seeing stuff obviously in person in some cases is a little better. Just depends.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think there's nothing that I think live theater is just an incredible experience. I mean, it's just like going to a concert. Like, that's also like an incredible experience. Like you hear this record over and over again. You hear this album over and over again, and you finally see, whoever perform live, and it's just like, wow, this is great. Like, I don't want to be anywhere else in the world than just like right here, watching this happen in front of my eyes. I think that's also like with the you mentioned the festival scene. I feel like that was also a wonderful thing too, because then you see like all of these, you get a chance to like see this improv done by folks that you like live so far away
So
from
far
you.
apart, yeah.
And it's just kind of a wild dynamic to see how they approach either a same form or like, yeah, and that's why I love doing festivals. That's why I love, when CHUCHO does festivals. Like, it's just, I mean, I remember going to Toronto and just seeing like just all the different like wild approaches and like bit shows, and just like the humor is just a very like slightly different in
Yeah.
each city too. And like, I remember like us talking about like, I can't remember. I don't think this was Toronto. It was somewhere, but we were just like, okay, crowd loves fart jokes. All right, we're gonna fart so much. It's just CHUCHO's just gonna fart everywhere. We're joking, but it was real. We were farting in real life. Just not
Well,
saying.
in that you just couldn't help. That's why.
Yeah, we couldn't
You're
help.
just trying to write it in.
Yeah, it was the smoked meat and poutine.
Well, we have reached the end of the episode. This has been a fun talk, but now it's time to create something.
Oh my gosh.
So what can we create? Now, I guess there are a few options.
Okay.
I can't rap, so I don't know if you could teach me to rap in the time that we have, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
there's also
Let's teach you how to rap in the time that we have.
Wow.
All right.
We don't have that much time.
Let's try it and see.
Okay.
Think of think of something that you recently have been like obsessed with or watching, or like has piqued your interests in pop culture perhaps, or just in general. Somebody you love or like care about, family, friends, fictional superhero.
Gosh, I feel like I'm watching too much content, so it's like hard to go that route. And then
I
gosh,
think
what
I've
is
watched
something
like
that's
3 different dragon shows in the last
yeah,
2
I know,
weeks.
right? I'm always like watching guitar related stuff, so I'll say guitar.
Guitar, great. Okay.
Yeah, constantly watching on YouTube, Instagram.
Okay, great. Let's try this. Do you have like a pen and paper handy?
Yeah.
We'll do a cheat way. All right.
And sometimes you gotta do a cheat way at first, just to
yes, to get
just
your
to like
bearings.
get your legs,
Yeah, it's like when you bowl for the first time, you need the bumpers. Otherwise, you're just gonna
Right.
like fail too much. You're gonna be like, I give up. I'm no good at this. No, you're good at this. Keep trying. We support you. We're bumpers. So guitar. Write down 4 words that relate to guitar, to a guitar, to playing a guitar. And I'm gonna follow along with you here and see if this works. So guitar, we have guitar, okay. What are the words you're coming up with here? Make them very simple. Don't make them like
too abstract. I got
well, they could be abstract. Whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, I got strings, playing, music, and sound, but that sounds silly. But sound.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. We've got strings, playing, music, sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So these 4 words, you're gonna for each word, you're going to come up with 2 lines. And your first line, this sounds impossible, but it'll be really easy. We're going to oversimplify everything. We're writing stuff down. What is a word what is a sentence that ends with a rhyme, with a word that rhymes with strings?
Okay. All the joy it brings.
All the joy it brings. Love it. Okay, just keep that in your mind. What is a word? What is a sentence that ends with a word that rhymes with playing?
You know what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Perfect. That's the perfect length that we need right here, because it's the end of the show. We need to wrap it up. All right, music. What is a word or 2 that rhymes with music?
And
it could be a sentence.
I love I love the movies of Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick. Oh my God, love it. Stanley Kubrick. All those famous movies. Sound, and then sound. What is a sentence that ends with a word that rhymes with sound?
I want to say no, that's not a thing. It's not a phrase. Chairman of the Mound is not a phrase, right? That's not a thing.
Oh, it is now. Chairman of the Mound. You know who was chairman of the mound? Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was the chairman of the mound. I hope he wasn't racist. I don't want to.
I know, right?
He was.
I always do that. Like whenever there's somebody who's older and maybe not even around anymore. Like I saw something about Hedy Lamarr earlier, and it was like, super pretty. I sure hope she wasn't racist.
Okay, so we've got all right, so really just keep those phrases in your mind. Honestly, just what we're gonna do is you're gonna say a sentence that ends in a rhyme. It ends in a word that rhymes with strings, and then you're just gonna somehow come up with a new sentence that ends in the word strings. Just pretty easy, right?
Okay, I guess. Okay,
let's try it.
So am I supposed to say what I said already? Like all the joy it brings?
Yeah. Yeah, you can finesse it a little bit, you can, and if it's not exactly what you had said before, that's okay. We're just trying it out.
I love our relationship and all the joy it brings, but you be playing me like a puppet on strings.
What? Stop. Yes. All right. Oh, we got playing.
Okay, playing. Just so you know what I'm saying, you got me like bagpipes at a funeral, always playing. That's so dumb.
Definitely at my funeral, I'm gonna have bagpipes for sure.
Yeah. We're definitely like Irish enough to have.
Yeah. Classic Filipino Chilean funeral with bagpipes. Music.
It's totally like a movie by Stanley Kubrick, like that one with all the creepy music.
What? Easy, baby. And then sound.
Just like Nolan Ryan, I'm chairman of the mound. Now it's sexual. I love to make you make that sound.
Yeah.
How absurd.
and this is like the perfect Valentine's Day like poem. Oh my god.
There it is. Billy, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. This is so much fun. Please have me on again. We need to do this
For
again.
sure, dude. For sure.
I do hope we have him on again. That was a fun chat. Why don't you check out what he's got going on by visiting billysoco.com. You can also follow him on Instagram at bsoco. You can also check out what North Coast has going on. Go to northcoastnyc.com. You can also follow them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at North Coast NYC. They have a show coming up this Saturday, the 19th, at Asylum NYC, and they're also going to be at DC Improv Comedy Club Saturday, February 26th. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at There It Is Pod, and also on YouTube at There It Is, and go to thereitispod.com for newsletter and support info. Until next time, be good to each other.
The music for the theme song was created by Neil Brooks. The rap was written and performed by Nick Acevedo. The logo for There It Is was created by Jeff Prater. The There It Is podcast is produced by Jason Farr.